This is Python's Paradise. I'm your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. It is May 22nd, 2021, and we were going to do this on Wednesday, but we're going to do this Saturday because, boy, we got somebody up on his technology here today. So we're going to do this now, and we're going to have a great time because I've been looking forward to interviewing my guest today. Yes, Drive-In Massacre celebrates its 45th anniversary. And I have the wonderful Norman Sheridan on Zoom with me today. How do you do, Norman?
Well, how do you do? I do pretty good, except I got a big white thing in the middle of my screen. I guess you don't see that, huh?
Oh, you mean that really cool hair?
No. Well, that's part of it. Yeah. I'm lucky to have any hair.
Yeah, mine's starting to recede, but no big deal, I guess. It used to bother me when I was young. Now it's like when you see guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin in wrestling being looked at as a really cool guy, and he has no hair. I'm like, oh, okay, let her fall out.
Yeah.
Let her fall out.
I don't want to stress you out or anything, but
No.
I see guys like him and I say, God, he's ugly.
Well, I see guys like him.
So I do the best I can to cover up any spots, that might.
You know what? I could say the same thing about him as well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Drive-In Massacre celebrating its 45th anniversary. I was 4 years old in 1976 when this came out. So, and you're what, pushing 39?
Yeah, I just made it. I even got a badge in here. It says I'm 39. Yeah.
There
39 right there, if you can see it.
39 years old.
Forever.
Yeah. Forever. Yeah. Well, I remember I interviewed John F. Goff back in March. And of course, he was one of the detectives in this. He ends up in drag. I asked him if that's a reoccurring thing in his life. And he recommended you strongly to me. He gave me your email address, and I didn't get in touch with you right away because I work as a cleaner, so I worked during the pandemic, and I had other people that were scheduling interviews with me. But here we are in May, and got you on here now, and very happy to have you because I got to admit I like you as the what they call the peeper in the film. you were the one going to the drive-in and doing some naughty things.
Well, yeah, no, everyone else was in the cars doing the naughty stuff. I was the one that was peeking. Yeah.
I need to look at what your character name was here so I can
I'm not helping, am I?
no, actually we're good.
I can't
We're good.
remember to tell you that.
I had to click on the Internet Movie Database here so I could yeah, your character name Orville.
That was it.
There
Right.
you go. Okay. Yeah, you got caught in a bad situation in that film because there was a lot of murders going on and at the drive-in, and you became a suspect because you kept driving around and peeping at people's car window. I got to admit, as creepy as that sounds, you peeping over those windowsills with that demented smile on your face and then you come back down. I got to admit,
I
it's
hope
pretty
it wasn't
funny.
like this one. Yeah. Yeah.
But I loved how this film handled the red herrings because there were a few of them, and I got to admit, I didn't quite know who the killer was, and And quite frankly, you know, I guess it really doesn't matter, but but I liked how it tied your character in as a red herring, because your character really was up to no good, and then you ended up having these two cops visit your house, and you had really nice reading material there and pictures on the wall.
Never let a cop come into your house.
No, but yeah, talk about how you got the role. And actually, you know what? Let's backtrack a little bit before we get into that, because I would like to get a little bit of your background and how you got into movies. Is that something you always wanted to do?
Well, I wouldn't say always. I went to the University of Washington, which was had a top-notch drama department at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And my father and his father and his father's brothers were all engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to the university, I was taking pre-engineering courses for almost about 2 years. And I decided I didn't want to be an engineer. As a matter of fact, I could go. That led me astray. Uh, anyway, I transferred to the drama department, and what I was getting at was I'm jumping way ahead now to where I stopped
Mm-hmm.
trying to be an actor. And that was because of money, of course. But I was sitting one day, I remember very vividly sitting in my hangout
Yep.
at Palladium Bowl in Seattle, Washington.
Uh-huh.
And I said to myself, someday I'm going to be a millionaire. And I convinced myself that's what I was going to do. And by the time I was doing this movie and a couple after that, I was nowhere near. I
Oh,
was
gee.
wondering.
I was going to
So,
ask for your secrets.
well, my secret was I got a regular job, but I made sure that it was a job where I'd have 2 or 3 free weekdays. I worked
Mm-hmm.
nights, I'd work weekends, and that I could kind of pick my shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I could go out and hustle parts on those weekdays.
Uh-huh.
Turns out I was just totally out of energy and I never could get out there. And anything I got after that was probably due to my buddy, George Buck Flower,
Oh,
who was
yeah.
also John Goff's buddy.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about Buck.
Yeah. And I just ran out of gas, but my plan was always to save 10% of everything I earned and
Mm-hmm.
invest it. So that's what I've done for about 50 years almost.
Okay. Not bad for somebody who's 39, investing for 50 years.
Trouble is, I gave up what I love doing the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Anyway, when I back to where you were
mm-hmm.
when I said I told myself I don't want to be an engineer. I switched over to the drama department. I think I'd already done one of their plays. I'd already taken a couple of their classes.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they had 3 theaters going constantly, either in rehearsals or performance. So that's how I got into acting.
Okay.
And then I got sidetracked along the way. I finally graduated. I'd done summer stock.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Hollywood,
Yep.
which probably a mistake. I probably would have done better in New York, but I don't know that for a fact. Anyway, I was there for just a few months. And I got a draft notice.
Oh.
And I had to show up to be drafted in Seattle after I'd been living here for about 3 months in Hollywood, I mean. And, so I came back to get drafted. It was on the Ides of March. I'll never forget, for you young people who don't know what the Ides of March is, that's the 15th. That's the day they plotted to finish off Julius Caesar. So I spent 2 years in the Army, and that cost me about 3 to 4 years, because after I got out, I needed to drive a truck and save some money to go back.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I got started there. But I had a few contacts when I left, but when I came back, most all of those were gone. I had to start all over again.
I'm certainly glad the draft is not around anymore. Frig.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
At that time, they wouldn't draft you when you were 26 years old. And I was 25 and 7 months when they got me. The rule was under Kennedy, they wouldn't draft married people, but that changed after he was gone.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't think I'd react well to that.
No, I didn't. I was kind of a nasty fella for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yep, you're being shuffled around without any do or say.
But it's hard to say. Things turned out a lot different for me than I had planned because of that. But some good things came of it. So
you want to talk about any of your experiences there?
What, in the Army?
Oh, anything stand out?
I guess I was very lucky because it was Vietnam going on strong, and just about anyone that was drafted would spend there were 13-month tours. And maybe because of my age, they didn't send me there, but possibly because I was given a strange advanced training course, which was an Army stenographer. So I had to learn how to take shorthand. I knew how to type a little bit from high school, but that took almost 6 months to complete that course. And by that time, after basic training and that, I only had, didn't have 13 months left unless they got me right away. And so they didn't. They sent me to a hospital unit. It was an emergency hospital unit, so that if they called, if there was an emergency, I might have to go to Japan or someplace close to Vietnam. And they never did call. I spent my whole rest of my Army career in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. That's San Antonio. So, I mean, there's not much to tell there except.
Well, I got to admit, I'm glad you didn't have to get sent into the real violent areas, you know.
Oh yeah. If I was, my son might not be here now.
Yeah. Although I got to admit, there's a few great Vietnam movies. You know, Apocalypse Now comes immediately to mind, and Platoon, and you got the jungle atmosphere.
Yeah.
But, that's about as close to Vietnam as I want. Well, talk about getting the part as Orville in Drive-In Massacre, because I really enjoyed this movie, I gotta say. Actually, I'll go into my backstory here because as I told John Goff, I just happened to be just browsing in Sunrise Video in the mall. And they have, of course, your vinyls and your CDs, and they got DVDs and Blu-rays in there. And this just kind of caught my eye. And I'd never heard of this movie. But I was like, we haven't had drive-ins here since the 80s, you know? And I'm gonna be 49 in July. So I remember the drive-ins quite well. In fact, the first movie I saw, I was 5 years old. I saw Pete's Dragon. My family went to saw Pete's Dragon in 1977, the year after this came out, and we saw the Star Wars trilogy there, E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, some Disney classics. We saw quite a
Ah,
lot of stuff there, and they ended up folding in the mid '80s. It was like I think '87 or '88, somewhere in there. It folded, but
that's probably well beyond their prime, drive-in theater prime.
yeah,
It seems to me.
yeah. There's
Uh,
not many around. A few here
when
and
this,
there.
oh, I don't want to interrupt you there.
Yeah, but anyway, I grabbed this and I thought I'm going to take a chance on this movie, and it has this old school slasher feel to it that I really enjoyed. Yeah, really enjoyed, and it took me back to the drive-in days. I had a great time with this movie, and when I and it hit me that it was celebrating its 45th anniversary, so I was like, "What can I get from this movie?" And I managed to get in touch with John Goff, and I had him on back in March, and he put me in touch with you, and here I'm having you on now. So, and I know Jackie Giroux. I've met her um, about over 10 years ago. She did a film up this way, and she was there at the film festival. Um,
Oh,
and I was like, I did not know she was part of this movie, so I'm gonna have to get in touch with her and have her come on and talk about this. So that's my story with Drive-In Massacre. So here I have it. I like it, and I watched this the commentary track on it and all that. So, and you're interviewed on here. So, talk about getting the part of Orville.
boy, that's a tough one. It goes back so far now, but I believe I already knew Stu Siegel,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking that this could be one of the movies that George Flower was Buck, we called him.
Buck.
I think he was acting as an assistant director. And so
Mm-hmm.
he introduced me again to Stu. But maybe that was the first time I met him. But I was pretty impressed with him. Yeah, he's a good director. He,
Mm-hmm.
he spent time with the actors as well as with the camera.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's kind of how I got the part of Orville. Uh, I think George may have recommended me Buck.
Well, you know what? He did wise because of course you're what they call a red herring. You're doing wrong because you're going around peeping, you know. I personally found your scenes quite funny, but you know, you make a lot of wrong decisions that put you in a bad spot where you end up running from the cops and you
Yeah,
know,
I remember that vividly. They come in the house and they want to take Orville out and look in the trunk of his car.
uh-huh.
And as an aside, that was featuring my car, my famous 1962 red Comet,
Oh wow.
Mercury Comet. And so I made a big deal out of my car kind of thing, but there was obviously stuff in my trunk that I didn't want them to see. So while they were searching, I I took off and we had a chase that lasted about 4 blocks long, I think it was. Both John Goff and myself were gasping for air at the end of this thing. Fortunately, it wasn't all in one take, but it was in very long takes.
He could have been chasing you in drag,
Yeah.
I ribbed him about that, when they're undercover at the drive-in and he's a drag, and I thought that was pretty funny. They had to look like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was him and let me see, get the other guy's name up here.
Forgotten who the other guy was. Huh. Can you see what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, forgive me.
Oh,
It has been.
Bruce Kimball. There we go.
Remember a Bruce. I
Yeah,
don't
Bruce
remember a
Kimball was the
Kimball.
other detective. It's interesting
Oh,
because they look very similar to each other.
yeah.
Yeah, they look very similar to each other.
You
But
gotta forgive me, but it has been 45 years, and I'm lucky that I can still talk. Maybe. Yeah.
well, yeah. So they gave chase. Of course, they found a dead animal carcass in your car, and you said you found that on the road and you picked it up or whatever. But it didn't matter what you said. Orville looked guilty.
Oh yes, I was the number one suspect for quite a while.
Yeah. But and I love the fact how they toyed with your character because like even in the house, I know you had all the porn on the wall and whatnot, the nude pictures and whatnot, but they really didn't find anything in your house, as guilty as you looked. But I like what had occurred because, of course, spoiler alert for anybody. Well, it's been 45 years, but of course, they go on a stakeout at the drive-in where they're watching you, but the killer strikes, uh, killing off, uh, killing off this poor woman while this guy is um, off doing something. But when they go to look for you, you're in the car right next to it, but you're gone. You're deceased. So you're not a suspect anymore.
No, that was towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, your character was there with his throat slashed. Talk about getting that makeup job done.
Oh, this was all Stu Siegel's touch here.
Mm-hmm.
Porn on the walls and the makeup. Yeah, he wanted to make this a slasher movie. He wanted
Yep.
to make it gory, and
Yeah.
it was when they found a corpse, we'll say.
Yep.
And yeah, he did a good job with that. I don't remember how long it took to do that on me.
Yeah.
I imagine it took a while.
Well, your character was no longer a suspect after that.
Yeah.
They were
That
back
spoiled
to.
the movie for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it didn't for anyone else.
Well, I hated to give that away too because but I wanted to talk about the makeup job on you, I think that was the year that, of course, Tom Savini did not work on this, but this would have been I think the year Tom Savini got started doing makeup. Maybe I'm wrong. He might have been doing it beforehand, but I think this was a year before he did Martin. So and these effects to me really hold up well, especially for a low budget independent film. So it holds up well. I like this image of the woman who falls out of when they open the door.
Yeah.
Her body falls out and she's got her throat slashed, and yeah, and of course the weapon of choice, a sword. Yep. But there's a lot of suspects in this. They suspect the guy that's going around cleaning up the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
God,
he's not necessarily a suspect to the cops, but he's a suspect to the audience. And And then you got the projectionist there, the very grumpy fella, who, of course, the police are. Yeah, it was Douglas Gerby played Jeremy. That's right.
Jeremy. Oh yeah.
You do you see him anymore?
Oh no, I haven't even seen John in about 25 years. We email all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
he lives in there and I live in Nevada.
Okay.
And I don't think I've been back to California in like 15 years, maybe. Uh, I got away from the taxes.
I'm getting rusty on some of the names here. I'm trying to think of who played the projectionist. So maybe it was
Jeremy was the janitor, wasn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Might have been.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who was it played the bud. Might have been John Alderman, was it?
John Alderman was a good man. He was in the vehicle with the girl that was, I think, the first victim
Oh,
of
okay. All
the
right. Yeah.
overrun. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got the wrong
Yeah, I
guy
knew
there.
John well. We were in a couple of things together.
Or maybe it was okay, Robert E. Pearson, I think is who I'm thinking of.
Bob Pearson,
There
of
we
course.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. He played the bald guy that was at a very nasty attitude. I gotta admit I liked him too, you know.
Yeah, he played it well. He
Yeah.
really isn't very nasty. Yeah.
No, I've heard he was a nice guy, you know, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
was.
but he played that part well, you know, and so yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie and reminiscing my drive-in experiences. Do you remember the first movie you saw at the drive-in? Or is that too far back?
Whoa. No, my parents probably took me to the drive-in. No, but I do remember that it was sometime around the mid 50s
Okay.
that they started making movies specifically for the drive-in circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the reasons this one has survived to this day
Mm-hmm.
is because it was, as far as I know, the first movie made for the drive-in circuit that took place in the drive-in.
There you go.
For the most part, 50% or more of it was in the drive-in.
The other 50% was at Orville's house.
And I think that may have given it a life of its own. Yeah, I remember some things I saw at the drive-in. Terrible Blood Feast was a movie made for the
Oh,
drive-in
yeah.
circuit. Oh my
I
God.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that film. Yeah. But but yeah, I saw all kinds of stuff at the drive-in. I wasn't old enough to see the Blood Feast.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Fortunate for you. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But we do have to talk about Buck Flowers. The first time I saw Buck Flowers, I was watching John Carpenter's Escape from New York. And he has that cameo where Kurt Russell finds him. He's playing a homeless guy, and he has
That
to
was
find.
his specialty. Yeah.
Well, he had to find the president, who was played by Donald Pleasance, and he had this thing on his wrist, a tracker thing, so Kurt Russell could find him. Well, the tracker thing was on Buck Flowers, and Buck Flowers, of course, was playing this drunk homeless guy, and he goes, "Well, told me that when I put this on, I'd be the president. And I woke up and there it was. And I was like, "Yep, that's that was my introduction to Buck Flowers." And of course, he was in The Fog with John Golf as well, and he was in this film as a suspect, and he's there with his daughter. I thought was pretty cool that he's in this with his daughter.
Yes, her Rakina. Rakina is how was what he called her then.
Hmm. So I thought that was an interesting dynamic that the two of them were in this very tension filled sequence at this warehouse, and I thought when I found out they were father and daughter, I was like, what an interesting acting dynamic, you know, that he brought his daughter into this, and she was able to pull this off, and Buck, of course, playing a crazy, although I find Buck too humorous to take seriously.
Most of the time he was. I don't know if you knew that he also played the homeless person in the park in both Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Yes, yes. And of course, he's in They Live as well.
Oh
Another
yeah, yeah.
Carpenter film. Little more, yeah. He's in that, and yeah, Buck was an interesting guy. Unfortunately, no longer with us. I should see if I could track his daughter down to have her come on and talk about him. But
she was she was in the film business for some time. I think she turned into a script girl.
hmm.
She was in front and behind the camera for quite a while. So she still might be doing something. I don't know.
You think she'll write a prequel to Drive-In Massacre called the Orville Chronicles?
That's a job for John Goff right there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he'll want to do it. You could ask
You
him
don't
though.
think he wants to chase after you now?
I want him to try. I got a couple years on him. So.
You think you get up over that fence? Of course, you didn't there. He got to you first.
Yeah, I had to slow down though so that he could catch me. Yeah.
That is funny. Yeah. Talk about working with John and Bruce Kimball, because those two were a fun pairing. They had their serious moments, but there was also some comedic moments. Like I said, them having to pretend to be a couple, well, undercover at the drive-in. I have to admit, I
Yeah.
thought that was funny. I ribbed John
I
Goff.
wasn't there for that part of it, but yeah, I remember it in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about working with them, because of course they well, didn't quite interrogate you, but they questioned you at your house.
Yeah, well, I'd call it an interrogation the way I remember it.
Yeah.
And I remember most is Stu getting in there wanting me to be more afraid yet covering it up. And
Well, you pulled that off.
he didn't want me to he wanted to make sure that I didn't give up the pornographic stuff he had put on the wall, and I was covering that up. And then when we got to the vehicle, that was all I could take. I took off running. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I don't remember Bruce saying much of anything, but Goff, he interrogated me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did,
we always had fun working together when we did. Yeah.
did you was there a premiere for this film? Like, did you attend the opening for this film?
I don't believe there was any premiere. It just opened somewhere in a drive-in
Did you
somewhere
go
in
see it?
Kentucky. Eventually, I'm sure I did. I don't remember seeing it at the theater, but I'd bet you money that I did. Of course, I had it on VCR, and I still do somewhere. Trouble is,
Okay.
my VCR doesn't work now. Yeah.
I find it funny the VHSs are making a comeback for collectors, and I'm like, I don't get it because I don't like having to rewind, fast forward, rewind, and this I
Yeah.
could just stick right in there, and if I need to
Better
go
quality too.
better quality, I can go to any scene I need to, and just at a touch of a button works just fine with me. I'll keep these. Do you ever get to do the conventions? Like where you get to sign autographs and stuff like that. Have you ever got to
For
do?
Drive-In Massacre? No.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, because I know John Goff was also in The Fog, so I'm trying to see if Sean Clark will take him on. And I just started doing the conventions back in 2017 because one of my guests invited me to a sister at a horror film convention, and I got hooked. I got to say that was fun. Yep. But considering the fact I've never been outside New Brunswick, Canada, it was quite an experience for me. So yeah. But you're in what you say, Vegas?
yeah.
What
Well, Henderson.
what's
That's
it like?
that's
What's it
that's the
like
biggest
there?
city in Nevada. If you didn't know it, it's Henderson,
I didn't
right
know
next to
that.
Vegas. Land-wise, it's the biggest city in Nevada.
What's it like there right now? Because you're 4 hours behind me.
Oh, well, the sun is out. Hasn't quite got up to speed yet. It's only about 75. I won't like the sun come 4 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, have you ever
It's,
been out this way before? This is a little small province in Canada called New Brunswick.
I think that must be back east. Now, when I lived in
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, I was up in Vancouver a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's really my experience with Canada was Vancouver.
Okay. We should talk about some of your other credits. I don't know any of these movies, but I do.
Not
Well,
many people do.
but you know what? We can. It's a good chance for me to familiarize myself with these titles because according to this, your first credit is in 1972. That was the year I was born. You're uncredited as Spike and Bar and Sex in the comics. You remember anything
Wow.
much about that?
Oh my goodness. I don't even have that on my list here. I guess I didn't want it. That was 1972.
Yeah, according to IMDb, yeah.
Yeah, I remember quite a bit about that. It was like a sex movie of comic books kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Duke Mitchell, who later, three of us had a scene, and Duke Mitchell was one of the guys. Now, Duke, he was a singer. He did Italian crooner type songs.
Okay.
And he also became a producer. And I was in one of his movies later. But at any rate, this was the first time I believe that I had met him.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to do this comic book characters. We were all made up with funny comic type faces. And I came in and I was the first to talk.
Mm-hmm.
We were all crooks, bad guys. And so I did my Richard Widmark thing.
There
That
you
kind.
go.
the guy that kicked the woman in the wheelchair down the stairs in that classic movie. And So it was Duke's turn to talk, and he came out with the same voice, doing the same thing. We hadn't rehearsed this at all. And the director, stop. No, you can't do the same thing. So he had to change his thing, and I kept mine. But
So he didn't get to kick a wheelchair?
no, that was my job. Yeah. Yeah. That's about all I can remember about that movie. I never forgot. It was so funny that he got shut down. I had no clue what he was going to do. That's what...
Well, in the next credit you have 1973, The Dirty Mind of Young Sally. Let me guess, that's a family drama, isn't it?
Yeah. Young Sally. Buck was in that. That was
Yeah.
a story about. That was a story about a girl, an actress in the movies, who got killed in the first scene because the set was Roman columns sticking up, and they fell over on her. She got killed. So the star of the film needed to be replaced. And it was a story about, the girl. For a while, I can't remember her name now.
Just a minute, I can bring it up here.
Oh, she was in a number of things.
Is it Colleen Brennan?
That doesn't sound right.
She played Sally.
Oh, that had to be her then. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen this film, so
Yeah,
I could be wrong too.
There were a lot of laugh things in it. I don't know how well it was put together, but there were a lot of little funny things in it. I'll tell you. It was done. It was directed by a guy who was an ad guy from New York, and he did a lot of commercials prior to that, and he had a great sense of humor.
Bethel Buckaloo, I think is his name. I never heard of this kind of name before.
But at any rate, this girl that was an extra when the lead in the movie got killed, she wanted to see if she could get that part. She started by sleeping all the way up with everyone that was a cameraman. I was the assistant director, and then Buck, I think, was the
romantic lead.
maybe a producer. I don't know. We got up to the director, the producer. Maybe Buck was the director. I don't remember exactly, but I was the clean freak, and she was trying to make friends with everybody so she'd be recommended for the role, which she finally did get. But that wasn't the story. The story was the story of how she got the part, really.
Funny stuff, yeah. Okay.
I was a clean freak. I played a clean freak. I think that may be what got me the Orville part. I don't know. I wore antiseptic white gloves.
Oh, okay.
I may have even had a mask on at one point, if you can believe it, with COVID here much later.
There you go. And then, of course, there's Alice Goodbody, directed by Tom Sawyer. Okay, yeah, Colleen Brennan was in that as well.
What?
There you go.
Oh, I'm getting my movies mixed up? No.
Well, this one was done after.
Oh, I did. I got my movies mixed. I just told you about Alice Goodbody.
Oh.
I'm sorry about that. The prior one you were talking about was directed by a guy by the name of Buckaloo.
Yeah, yep.
And geez, I don't remember much of anything about that.
Well, Alice Goodbody, yeah, that came out in '74. Yeah, it's Tom Sawyer, Sawyer. Is it? Yeah, Sawyer directed that, and he wrote it. And yeah, it's got Colleen in it again. Director's this listed as Tom Sawyer,
Oh,
Sawyer.
a phony name.
I would guess. I would guess.
Tom
Yeah.
Scherrer.
Mhm.
Okay, you're getting the movies. You're mixing me up now. Okay, you're talking about Alice Goodbody.
Yeah.
Tom Scherrer was his name. He was the ad guy from New York. Yeah.
Okay. And then you did. We're moving from X to R here now. Johnny Firecloud.
Johnny Firecloud. That was one of my most famous pictures. Yes.
You know what? I
It,
don't know that movie, but you're going to tell me about it and familiarize me with it.
well, that wouldn't be too easy, but I could tell you about parts of it.
Sure.
Uh,
John
Johnny
Golf in this. Yeah.
Firecloud was he starred Victor Mojica. He was an Indian with a great physique, and he was hot in the movies or TV for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he played Johnny Firecloud, who was in a lot of trouble with the town.
Yep.
And I was someone that got locked up for a while. Geez, I can't even remember. Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
It's an incoming call that will hang up probably on its own.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I put mine on flight mode, so no worries. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay, and my part in Johnny Firecloud, I think, as I recall, I was trying to stop the lynching of Johnny Firecloud, and the town wanted to string him up. And
Okay.
I ended up behind bars for some reason. Finally, I think I got let out. But that's basically kind of what was going on in the movie. Johnny Firecloud, that was that had what's his name?
John Goff is in this, and so is Buck Flowers.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the famous guy was from Bonanza, David Canary.
Oh, okay.
He had a part in that, and later he became more famous maybe on soap operas.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even remember how it turned out, but they didn't string up Johnny Firecloud. I know that. Yeah.
And then in 1977, you got Bad Georgia Road. Now, this has got some, I haven't seen this one either, but it's got some names in it that I'm familiar with. You got Gary Lockwood, you got Royal Dano, you've got Mary
Oh,
Warrenov in this.
I don't remember Royal Dano in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew him.
You got John F. Goff is in this, of course.
I I really liked this movie. I loved the part that I got,
Talk about
and
that. Yeah.
it it didn't work out because the director of the movie was a first-time director.
Okay.
And this thing had a decent budget. And we had the stuntmen with car crashes and chases and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Anyway, I was introduced fairly early on in the movie, my character, as being the bad guy working for the money guy who was a bad guy. Reese, it seems to me, was my name.
Yep,
Yeah.
Reese, yep.
And the last 30 pages of the script, and a movie script that's about 30 minutes long, was all me, bad guy me, trying to kill the good guys, Gary Lockwood and the famous girl. Her name's not coming to me right now.
Carol Linney?
Carol Lindley. Yeah.
Lindley.
Yeah. She was in the first Poseidon adventure. Anyway.
Okay.
But at any rate, we're supposed to have all kinds of action and chase these people down. Carol and Gary Lockwood were running moonshine.
Okay.
And all this action that I was witness to, the stunt car drivers and stuff, turned out they didn't get enough film on it. They couldn't make cuts, and it didn't cut together. Well, let me turn that off too.
You're popular today.
Oh yeah. At any rate, where was I?
We're talking about Carol Linney and
yeah, the action did not cut together, and so what happened is Carol and Gary Lockwood got into the car and took off, and they're being chased supposedly by me, and it froze frame and the movie ended because they couldn't get any of that action. So they ended the movie about 25, 30 minutes before it was supposed to end. It was a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. So,
oh, geez.
Now, yeah.
Let me just say I'll call you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, CB, I got to call you back when I'm done with what I'm doing. Bye now.
Yeah.
Somebody out there still cares about me.
Yeah.
I can't understand you, Greg.
Oh, I got my phone set on flight mode, but the funny thing is, I don't know how to edit on here, so that's okay. It makes the interview authentic. So hey.
Oh well, I guess it is.
Yeah. You said you knew Royal Dano. You didn't. I guess you didn't.
Well,
work
I knew who he was.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I watched him hundreds of times, and I probably did meet him there on that set, but I don't recall it.
Okay. Did you meet Mary Warrenov?
Mary? Who?
Warrenov. Let me see. I'll bring up the character she played. Hackett. Yeah.
Hackett.
Yeah. Mary is somebody I'm familiar with through a lot of, she worked a lot with Paul Bartel. So, yeah, she's in this. And of course, John Goff, of course, is in this. You either have John Goff or you have Buck Flower. Yep, George Buck Flowers in this as well. I think they just string you along with these projects, don't they?
Yeah, they got me a lot of them. I think one of them was in Black Lolita. I don't remember Buck. They certainly were not in my Let's Do It Again and Lifeguard.
Well, the last film you're listed for is from 1987, called Party Favors, directed by Ed Hansen. Of course, George Buck Flowers and Hansen both wrote this. And of course, it's got John Goff in this as well. And Buck Flowers, let me see, and go click all cast and crew here. Because this one I'm not familiar with too, although it seems like it would be right up my alley.
Well, it might be.
Oh, gee,
I was there. I was only present for the one big scene that featured my character.
Okay.
And it was the last movie I ever did. I had had a straight job for like 10 years.
Okay.
Prior to that. So I had been phasing out unless my phone rang because I wasn't out there looking.
Oh, it's ringing a lot today. You know, they're making.
Yeah. No job offers though. Anyway, where was I?
Well, the name Gail um, Thackeray is up here. I saw her name on something on Facebook here recently, so I'm recognizing that. But nonetheless,
you're jumping, you're jumping around movies right now. The movie we're talking about
Party
is
Favor. Yeah, she's in
Party Favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was only there. There was a big group there.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a restaurant, or no, it was an outside patio. A lot of people there, and I came in, and they were pulling a trick on me. What they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm some kind of an office guy, I remember, and I had what was brand new. No one had one of these yet. A phone in a suitcase that you would carry.
Mm-hmm.
No, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have flip phones. But I had this phone because I was an exec.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were pulling the joke on me, and I sat down. We were going to have lunch or dinner or something, and it turns out they bring out a stripper for me.
Okay.
And she does her strip, and this is after I showed off my phone to everyone and how great it was, and she does her strip act and sits in my lap, and I'm just totally embarrassed.
You should be. See,
really...
Orville would not be embarrassed.
Well, he would if the cops were there, you know. And there were a lot of people around here. So anyway, the punchline was, and it did crack up everybody, including the director, was the phone rings just as she's getting off my lap. And I pick up the phone and, hello, Mom. Yeah. You know? Like she could see me, but no, we didn't have that kind of technology then.
No.
And I didn't see many other sequences or scenes other than the people that were there that day.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy working most of the time.
What have you been doing when you're not acting? Is there like what else do you do you have any other ventures that you're involved with? Like, I know there's a lot of actors that are into painting, or they're into, they got other jobs, or I was wondering what did you do when acting was low?
Let me take a drink.
Mm-hmm.
You got into my other life.
There you go.
And I don't want to say too much. I don't know what kind of an area your show covers, but I can go back to 72 when I seriously took up casino life.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people would call me a gambler. I would never call myself that. I was a risk taker, still am.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied my blackjack, and in 1972, I'd take every trip to Vegas, Reno, any chance I got, and spend a few days here and go back to California. And it progressed. I was doing all right. I remember the first trip I made in 1972. You got to understand, I wasn't rich. I was betting $5 chips, and I had to save up to get a $600 bankroll.
Yeah.
I came here and I went home after about 3 or 4 days with $1,000 profit.
Oh, wow.
And that I was hooked.
You know, 1972, I made my first trip too, into life.
Yeah. Well, that can be a tougher trip.
I guess it went smoothly. I'm assuming. I haven't heard otherwise, and I think I turned out as normal as if you can call me that.
But anyway, I kept doing this same kind of thing. It was never that profitable. Later on, I figured out I was making approximately $10 an hour for my time.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, that wasn't good enough. I wasn't paying for my trip back and forth in a motel room. That was about all. And so I got a little more serious over the years, and I kept doing it. And come 1981, they started talking about, well, actually it was 79, they started talking about blackjack tournaments.
Okay.
And that's where I really became an expert. And it wasn't easy. It took a long time. I knew the game of blackjack, but a tournament, completely different. You're not just playing against the dealer, you're playing against everyone at your table. So you have to be ahead of them in your chip stack. And it changed the whole complexion of the game. In 1981 is when I started, because I didn't believe that these tournaments were anything more than a way to catch card counters and tell them they couldn't play in your casino anymore. So I didn't start for a couple of years, and then I got into it. My first one was at Sahara. Yeah, the Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
And I got hooked on that. I won my first round, but that was about it. And I studied for a long time. I got out my calculator and pen and paper and tried to figure out how to beat the other players, no matter whether the cards were running good or bad, and how to handle the last 5 hands, because they would usually count down everyone's chips in the last 5 hands, and you would know exactly what everyone has. But there weren't many people that could remember over the course of 5 hands who gained chips, who lost chips. And if you could keep track of much of that, you were much better off. And I could keep track of at least 3 others that were closest to causing me a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it led to a career of blackjack tournaments that lasted from 81 until about 2012, something like that. And I don't want to say, well, I did cash in tournaments for over $1 million during that period.
Oh, gee, nice.
So that's really how I achieved my goal back there when I was 20 or 21.
You share any of that with Buck Flowers?
Yeah, he didn't help much, no. I love that guy, though. He was funny. He was funny.
Do you remember when he passed away?
It's been about 10 years, I think.
Yeah, but do you remember hearing about it, like where you was when you heard?
It was after the fact that I heard about it, and I think his daughter let me know.
Okay.
And was it a heart attack? I think
I don't know.
he was. I think it was poor health, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was. I'm kind of thinking it was a heart attack. That's what I remember anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I could be very wrong about that. Maybe it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. John Goff would know a lot more about that, because they used to actually write scripts together too. They spent a lot of time together.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you doing with yourself these days? How are you handling COVID? We got kind of the jump on the COVID situation here in New Brunswick.
Oh,
But we're in what you call the yellow phase here. which means if we can get through that, we're in the green phase, and that's home stretch. Have you got vaccinated yet?
Oh, I was vaccinated. I believe the second shot was still in February. I got the first one in February, and the second one maybe second of March or 3rd of March.
Yeah. I get my
So,
first
yeah.
one this Wednesday. I get my first one Wednesday morning. And for me, I've never really, like, to me, nothing's changed other than just the whole inconvenience of it. Like, I've worked through the whole thing as a cleaner, but I usually work at nights when there's nobody around. So I just kind of come and go, and I wear my mask and everything, but it's kind of like, I guess the big reason I'm getting the shot is because I'd like to be able to travel to the conventions in Toronto this fall if Toronto opens up, and I guess you need to be vaccinated to do that. So I guess I can
Yeah.
cooperate with that.
From my experience, I have to recommend the shot to almost everyone. I don't think I'd recommend it to young girls that might still be having children.
Mm-hmm.
Just off the wall. But if you're past that age,
Oh, I don't want kids anyway, so.
I don't think it'd bother a man, but who knows? All I know is from my experience, yes, the first time I had a sore arm, big
Mm-hmm.
deal. At my age, everything's sore anyway. Yeah. But at the second shot, I noticed dramatically, and I talked to some other guys I know that same thing with them. It hurt worse the second time. You'd think it would have been easier, but my arm hurt worse. And it doesn't seem to hurt much the first day at all. It's the second day. And then the third day, nothing. So that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
But I know there are a few people who've had some bad reactions, but
I heard people have had some fevers and shivers and sweats, but then it just passes,
Yeah, that can happen with some people with just an ordinary flu shot.
Yeah. Well, I get my flu shot every year, so that I do. But
I got my lesson with flu shots. Yeah, I got one every year for quite a while, and it was sometime back there, probably still in the 80s, where I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I had terrible flu that year 3 times in the summer, from May to September, and I never missed another flu shot after that. Yeah. So I'm big on those. Yeah.
Is the COVID situation still bad in Vegas there?
It's much better.
Okay.
They shut down. I'm pretty sure it was March 18th, because my career has never stopped going in there. Although I don't play tournaments in there, I get free meals at casinos almost every day. And,
oh, nice. Nice.
And one casino or another, yeah. And it shut down on May 18th, and I was left March 18th, and I was left on my own until the first week of July. So I had to
was that last
do
year?
takeout and bring home stuff from McDonald's and Burger King.
There you go. Well, hey,
I'm not
I'm
a hell of a cook. I mean, Orville, he could have cooked, but not me. Yeah.
Was this in 2020, March 18th?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because
and then they opened up at 50% capacity, I think it was, on June, first week in June. And then they brought it back down to 25% capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going every day. You'd have to wear a mask when you went in.
Oh, it's funny you mention it, because I had done 30 interviews at the station in 2020, and the last one I did was March 18th, and then everything shut down. I went the rest of the year I wasn't able to do this. Thankfully, one of my guests had told me if she can do Zoom, I can do Zoom. And apparently now you can do Zoom.
Wow, I don't know if I can hook up with someone else. I don't know if I can make someone hook up with me or not.
Well, I'll tell you, this went smoothly today, but I'm going to tell you, you're my 50th interview this year, and
Holy man.
we're not even halfway through the year. I love the station I'm affiliated with, but it's located on university grounds, which is why it's not open. But I'd like to think we could have got in and out, and because there's less people in there, but
Uh,
university rules. Because I've been going back to the movie theater since last July, so go figure. But um, I love the idea of being able to just schedule these whenever I want to, because before I'd have to call my station manager or my program director to see if I could book the studio. Here, I could just do it right here, you know?
oh,
So, and when the
geez.
station opens up again, I could just take my flash drive in and yeah.
Anyway, now in Vegas, we don't have to wear masks in the casinos. It's the honor system. If you've been vaccinated, you don't need a mask.
Orville wishes he wore a mask.
Yeah. Yes, he would. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you got any charities or anything that you want to plug on here that you're involved with?
Well, I always like to donate to the Vietnam Vets of America.
Oh, wonderful,
That's one.
wonderful. Yes.
I always donate to an outfit that my grandfather donated to. And that's Danny Thomas's, Marlo Thomas's. Uh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who Marlo Thomas is. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
the charity that her father started pushing. God, I can't think of the name. I donate to him all the time. I
That
can't
is
think of the
awesome. That is awesome.
name.
Yeah.
Children with cancer.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Anyway, it's for children. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Look at this. 45 years. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. I can't.
45 years of Drive-In Massacre. I'm happy I found this, and I enjoyed it. I had John Goff on here, and a special thank you to John F. Goff for hooking me up with you, because this has been a lot of fun.
It
And
has.
we were supposed to do Wednesday, but hey, today worked out fine. I had you hooked up here. I was like, "You have time? We'll do it today."
Yeah, you surprised me. Is what you did.
Actually, I'm actually surprised. You surprised me, more or
Oh,
less.
well, that makes us even, I guess.
We do have to find out the secret of your hair, though.
Oh, well, it's a lot of good genes, is what it
I
is.
guess,
And it
your
just
hair.
doesn't fall this way in the morning. Trust me. You got to use a brush and a comb and a little spray.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your hair looks great. I'm receding, but at least it's growing here and it's growing back here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, at least I got
That's
something.
pretty good. You can't complain about that.
Oh,
I
people.
got to admit, I'm a little vain about my hair, but nothing else. Look at these clothes. I don't. I just my hair. It's got to look right.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. Well, is there anything else you want to promote on here, or anything else you want to bring up before we close off?
Uh, I guess that's about it. Thank you for calling me, Greg. I appreciate the memories.
I'm happy to have you
Call
on
me
here.
anytime.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I got your number here. I'm glad you sent your number to me, because we were able to get this hooked up properly, And
Yeah.
yep, I've had a couple of other people I've had to help do this as well. But I remember New Year's, I needed help. It was somebody from London, England that helped me get set up.
Oh,
And she ended up being my first guest, you know.
I would
I
have
was
thought you were a champ at this.
Well, you know what? I've been doing it at the station since 2000, I started doing the podcast in 2015, and I've been doing them there up until the pandemic, and I'm still affiliated with the station. It's just I just can't get in there, you know. And my show, I guess, is on reruns, and I don't know anything about how to send this stuff to my program director, but because I'm not that tech savvy. You think you're bad at tech? Well, I'm bad at tech. My brother, my AK, my manager, is the one that keeps me set up on this stuff, and so so yeah, but no, I was delighted to have you on today. I think this worked out smashingly well,
Well, I hope
and
so.
yeah, I think so. I think it worked out well, and I was delighted to have you on.
See,
You know,
I don't even know yet. See, no one has directed me here at all. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at your eyes on the screen or that little thing up there.
you
I
know
have
what?
to
I don't
choose.
know either. I'm just sitting here and looking in your direction. So I know
Okay.
I got my little camera there that sees me, but I don't even know if it. I don't know. I don't have Zoom. I know you didn't even know your picture was going to even appear on here, you know. So
No, I
I think
didn't.
I think that's just Zoom, you know. So God bless the person that created Zoom because it got a lot of us through the pandemic. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't. When I was an actor, I did some almost 50 different productions of plays.
Mm-hmm.
I was in well about 2,000 performances.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to Hollywood, then the direction was, well, you got to look up over here. The camera is there, and you got where you were looking was very important, and it never seemed to matter prior to that.
There you go.
So I had to go through classes again when I got to Hollywood.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before I let you go, I would love a plug for my show, and you might want to write this down, but just state your name and that you played Orville in Drive-In Massacre.
I got
Yeah,
that one down here.
yeah, yep. That you played Orville in Drive-In Massacre for its and we're celebrating its 45th anniversary.
My goodness, it's not there.
There you go.
Well, now
and
okay, you're
yeah,
down.
and then say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Of course, Ray Gilbert on
Python's Paradise. Yeah.
Python Paradise.
There you go.
All right. How can anyone out there forget this name? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
There you go.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't do wrong. Tune in to Greg.
Yeah. Go for it. Do the plug.
You just had
Oh,
it.
geez.
Don't be a ham, Greg.
Yeah, you don't want to mess that take up. Oh well. You know what? It was wonderful having you on today and celebrating the 45th anniversary of this movie and you ever get stopped to sign copies of your movie or anything like that, or do you not get recognized?
uh, no, I don't hear much about it anymore. But if anyone's out there wants to hire Norm Sheridan, I was only 4 when I made this movie. I'm not really this old.
Gee, I was only 4 when this was released. Oh, there we
Oh,
go. We're around the same age.
yeah.
My hair is just darker, but doesn't look as good as yours.
Yeah, well, I can change that. Yeah. Looks better with a little dark shoe polish.
There you go. Well, a special thank you to John F. Golf for hooking us up, and I bid you a wonderful day and enjoy Vegas. And thank you so much for giving me your company today.
Well, thank you, Greg, of Python Paradise.
Python's Paradise. Yep, that is the show. And yeah, I'll give you a call sometime to see how you're doing, and see how many other Zoom interviews you did.
Yeah.
I got you broke
Okay.
in. I got you broke in.
Yeah. I'll tell him Greg showed me.
There you go. There you go. All right, you have yourself a wonderful day. I'm going to press end on here, and I bid you. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I bid you a wonderful day. You take care of yourself, and God bless.
Thank you. I'm going to go out and have a wonderful free meal now.
I would like to get a wonderful free meal, but my cat won't cook.
Oh, you got the same problem I do.
Yeah. You take care of yourself, man.
You too, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye now.
Yeah.